Hello, we welcome Jim Albright. Jim is the author of The Dangerous God. He's also the pastor of the International Church of Milan. And we'd like to ask Jim a few questions about his new book, Dangerous God. Jim, as I read Dangerous God, this question comes to mind. What if God is not who we think he is? That is a sobering thought. Could you speak to that, Jim?
I guess it's the most important question before mankind. Obviously, we understand, thinking people understand, there must be an adequate first cause. It's our business to try to understand who he is and what he's like, and how should I respond to who he is and what he's like. And we have this full revelation in Scripture, which is invaluable. It's an amazing gift that he's given us, and he has made full disclosure. He's made full disclosure. We know who he is. We know what he's like. To make the error of saying, I don't know what God is like, is to simply ignore this amazing revelation that we have of him in Scripture.
And this has changed your ministry, Jim. This has changed your life. How so?
Well, when I was first converted, the first study I did was Genesis, and I watched this love affair between God and Abraham, and I thought, man, that I want that. I want what that is. And I guess as a Christian now, since I was 28, I I'm on that pursuit, and it doesn't end. Um, the longer you look at him, the more you love him, and the more you grow to desire to worship and serve him. He is my fuel. God is my fuel. Piper wrote the great book, God is the Gospel. God is the gospel. He's the good news.
Mhm.
And as Solomon said, God has put eternity in our hearts, and we need him. Nothing will fill the human heart but the glory of the biblical God. So for me to be in the Word and teasing out all that He is, it's life and ministry. It's to me it's hugely important.
I think that The Dangerous God is the most important book a Christian would read in 2021, for 2022 for that matter. Would you agree and why?
Well, yeah, I would agree in that it is, as one of the folks on the promotional team has said, it's the forgotten attribute. Um, I'm not sure it's forgotten as much as it has been ignored. But what I want to say to the regenerate heart is that we need this large vision of God. We need him. We won't walk where Jesus has called us to walk unless we have a great vision of who Yahweh is. We'll simply be too intimidated. We'll be afraid. But we have an awesome, fearsome, consuming fire God who has called us to himself and has promised the third member of the Trinity to enable us, to indwell us and enable
Mhm.
us. I mean, we have all that we need. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, he is uh, he is all we need to do the job that he's given us to do.
Can you speak to our listeners who will be hopefully readers of Dangerous God? Can you speak to the pastors? How will their life and ministries change by reading Dangerous God?
I guess I would say, because it's almost all Bible. Um, I don't. I haven't counted the references, but it's just Bible. There's some commentary in there, uh, but it's mostly Bible. And to look at God and to hear what He has to say, and the fact that um, in Scripture, no man yawns before Yahweh, and in fact, the men who saw a glorified vision of who He was, they all hit their face as fast as they possibly could. There's this echo is missing in the modern church. It's my sense that this echo of the greatness, the jaw-dropping greatness of God, is missing in much of the modern church. And I will say this, having preached through the book in my own church, I would say that I've had good response. And I had one guy that the word that sticks in my mind is one young man from Nigeria said to me, "This has been a reset for me." And
Hmm.
Carl, if we're not changing, something's wrong. God is always pushing us to
Right.
that greater step of faith, which always requires a greater vision of who He is.
Well, you've heard from Jim Albright, and we want you to buy a book for yourself, for your family, for your pastor. And you can do it by clicking on the website or going to Amazon.com. And when you do, when you read the book, you'll understand why Donald Whitney, writing an endorsement about this book, said, "It is terrifyingly good news." Our
Amen.
God is a dangerous God. He's also a gracious God. Learn more about him by reading Dangerous God. God bless you. And thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Carl.